This episode of Snack Size is brought to you by Snacks by Lala. Elevate your look with bold, long-lasting matte lipsticks and dazzling lip glosses. Whether you're on stage or on the go, Snacks by Lala delivers stunning color that lasts all day. Visit www.snacksbylala.com and treat yourself to a snack. Because you deserve it.
Hey Snacks, it's Lala! Welcome to Snack Size. I am thrilled to be here sharing this wonderful space with you, and I'm ready to take you on an exciting journey towards finding your passion and following your dreams. So whether you're discovering new interests, setting bold goals, or just looking for a dash of inspiration, know that every moment is worth celebrating and every dream is within reach. So grab a snack and get comfortable because we're about to dive into another fabulous episode where we celebrate the beauty of being unapologetically you. Our time together starts now. Hey snacks! Welcome back to Snack Size the podcast, and I am so excited about our episode today because we are going to dive into the world of sequins, crowns, and stories that slay. Yes, we have a queen who is turning heads and breaking barriers after winning the prestigious title of Miss International Queen 2025. This fierce beauty recently took the stage by storm in Las Vegas, dazzling those judges with her creativity, poise, and jaw-dropping talent. But it doesn't stop there. She is now using her platform to advocate for mental health, inspire the transgender community, and is also preparing to represent the USA on the global stage in Thailand. She's bold, she's brilliant, and today she's here to share her story with us. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and welcome to Snack Size, Midori Monét. Let's give her a call. Hi, Midori. Welcome to Snack Size.
Hi, Lala. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to talk with Miss International Queen USA. And for those who may not know who you are yet, please introduce yourself to the Snack Size audience.
Well, hello, Snack Size listeners. My name is Midori Monét. I am your Miss International Queen USA, all the way from Seattle, Washington.
I'm so glad that you brought up living in Seattle and Washington because I know you previously competed for Miss Washington USA, which is in a different pageant system, before going up for International Queen. And talk about that a little bit because I know that was a significant experience for you.
So Miss Washington USA is actually a part of the Miss Universe organization, which was formerly owned by our now President Trump. Ooh.
Girl.
If you can't tell, that is very sarcastic through my voice. And it is now actually changed a lot of their rules and a lot of their regulations regarding who can and cannot compete. And luckily, I was one of the first contestants to be a part of the organization after all of their rules and regulations were lifted. So I was 25 years old when I competed, and the cutoff age that it used to be was 26. So I was like right on the cusp, and I'm one of the first Black trans women to ever compete in Miss Washington USA, as there haven't really been a lot of trans women to compete in the USA organization. The only one to ever compete was actually Miss Cataluna, who was the Miss International Queen USA before me.
So you are keeping that legacy going, and we love to see that. Were you doing pageants before you competed for Miss Washington USA?
Well, I never really talked about this that much, but when I was about 18 years old, I competed in my first pageant, which was also here in Seattle, Washington, and it was for Miss Teen Pride. And I got to be one of their first winners of that. And it was so amazing to have that opportunity. I was just a little teenager with a dream and some scrap fabric I found at the club. And baby, we made a dream happen. Yeah, my winning dress, I believe they had a challenge where we were supposed to make a rainbow outfit, and I made it entirely out of the pride streamers that the club had up that I used to work at.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So I'm a very crafty queen. I'm a designer and I sew and all of these different things. So pageantry to me is just another way for me to express my creativity and shine that light on that extra part of my life.
I love that so much. So we started as Miss Teen Pride and now we are Miss International Queen. So tell me, how did it feel when they announced you as the winner?
Oh my gosh. It felt so full circle to me, and I was just trying to keep my composure because I remember hearing one of the ladies, we have like house moms there, that's what we call them, and they're like, girl, when you get on that stage, the dress you wear, you will have that picture for life. So I was just thinking, okay, so there's gonna be a camera and there's a photo. So let me get my moment, let me get my expressions out, and then we gotta melt. We gotta melt for these cameras. We gotta get ready for the show because after all, the pageant is one big show. So I just wanted to feel it and then, get ready to understand that this is my reign. This is something that I'm going to look forward to for the rest of my life. And I just have to get in that moment. But altogether, it was so like I I manifested this, and I feel like it was something that I put so much work into and so much thought and time and energy. So just to hear my name when I was crowned and to feel the crown go on my head, be hugged by my idol Giselle Barbie Royale immediately after winning, like everything to me was like, wow, am I dreaming? Like this is really happening. I'm here.
I've probably never said this on the podcast before, but anybody who knows me knows I am a huge Giselle Barbie Royale fan. So I cannot imagine how magical it was to be crowned and then get a hug from her. Just so amazing. So how long is the Miss International Queen competition?
Yeah, so it was 3 days, but in totality, it was actually from Saturday to Saturday. So it was a full week.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did more than just competing. We had workshops, seminars learning about law, learning about healthcare and diets. We were learning also about just the experience of what it's like to be in this system. And we even got the opportunity to rep presents for the homeless youth in Las Vegas. We did so many wonderful things, and I'm so happy to have been a part of that experience.
Wow, that's amazing. And it definitely sounds like it is a jam-packed week full of experiences. And in looking back at it all, is there anything that happened or any moment that really stands out for you?
One thing that I really took to heart, and I use this as an experience of I've already learned the lesson of what it's like to go on a pageant and like just mute everyone out. And I wanted to go into Miss International Queen USA differently. I wanted to walk into this pageant, yes, focusing on myself, but I also let my guards down and I let my walls down in order to create a bond with all of the girls there and be able to not just work on myself, but like share what I've learned with the other girls around me. And that was so full circle to me. And it felt so fulfilling to be able to not only improve myself, but to help other girls that were there in the competition, whether that was, girl, you need wig glue, you need nail glue, you need help learning how to turn. Like I just felt like I could be myself, but I didn't feel the pressure of, I only have to focus on myself. It felt like I could be the one who could extend a hand, who could help and be there to, share what I've learned and share what I've known to bring me where I am today with the other girls around me.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that because what I've learned in different situations where I'm competing or doing pageants is that there really is no competition because no one else is like me. And you have to remain focused on what you're doing because in those situations, you can't change what other people are doing. So you just have to make sure that you're bringing your best.
Oh, absolutely.
I also love that you mentioned sisterhood. And I know that's a huge reason why people love pageantry so much. In terms of the bonds you've built with other contestants with Miss International Queen and maybe other pageants, how has that impacted your journey and your success?
Well, my platform that I stand on, being someone who is well immersed in community, I feel like it is my goal and my passion to be able to create those bonds with those around me, because I grew up in a very restrictive household where I wasn't able to share space or even know about other people in community. So to be able to stand where I am now and to hold that space, it just feels so amazing to, shine my light and let my light shine with those around me. Because, you are the company that you keep. So to be around such an amazing group of talented women who have so many different things that they bring to this competition, it made me feel at home. It made me feel like I was right where I needed to be in that moment.
If you are willing to talk about growing up, when did you decide to fully come into yourself, and what did that growth look like for you?
Well, it wasn't an easy road for me. I was not privileged to have this wonderful moment where I tell my parents and they just support me tenfold. It was honestly a lot of work. It was a lot of time and a lot of stress and a lot of struggles that I had to go through, from experiencing homelessness to experiencing just figuring out life without that support network of having a mom and a dad who are there to fully support you. I don't think it was until I fully just stepped into my own and figured things out on my own that my parents are like, oh, so this is what she wanted. So this is what she's trying to do. Okay, I see it. But in the beginning, they can't see that vision that only you have for yourself. So it takes that leap of faith of just putting yourself out there and doing what's best for you, following your heart. So I wouldn't recommend or I wouldn't wish my background on anyone else, but I cannot lie and tell you that it didn't give me the backbone and the character that I have today. And I am forever grateful for all of the struggles that I've been through, because I don't think I would be who I am today without it.
I believe that everyone's situation is their own, but these types of situations are things we see in our community so much. And I'm wondering what advice you would have to people who may be struggling with some of the same things you did.
I would have to say that you have to focus on today. I think that you only have today to live in your authenticity and not focus on the struggles of tomorrow. And I feel like that's easier said than done. But when you're able to just focus on what's on your plate today and what you have to focus on for yourself, for your needs today, tomorrow gets easier and the next day gets easier and it gets easier from there, because we can all focus on the future and, wonder what's next in our lives, where are we going from here? And that can just lead to nothing but stress. But baby, when it comes to what am I doing today? Where am I going today? How am I spending my time today? I feel like it breaks things down in a way that it's easier to understand and it's easier to manage. Myself, I have ADHD. So when I start focusing on everything else in the future, everything gets crazy for me. So when I just take that one task and I start there, I accomplish it, and I move on to the next thing, everything just starts to trail itself into success for me.
I think that is a great lesson on success, because that is the same thing I kind of say when people ask me how I've been successful. It didn't just happen. It was a bunch of decisions that were made. It was a bunch of failures I learned from, and it happened over time. And so I think it's a great thing to encourage people to look at life that way. All we have is right now. And so if you're doing the best you can at that, you'll be doing the best you can at everything, really, in some way.
Absolutely.
So.
Tomorrow's never promised. So you got to live in the present.
Yes. So you have always been an advocate for the transgender community and people of color. Now that you have this amazing opportunity to be Miss International Queen, how do you plan to use your platform to elevate those voices and those causes?
I had a question very similar like this during the pageant, and my answer was quite simple. I feel like the best thing that I can do for my advocacy as a Black trans woman is to continue being myself and living out loud and being free and showing the world that this is what it looks like to be happy, successful, in love, even as a Black trans woman, and that the experience isn't what the world tells us it is. They tell us that, some of us in community will never find love, will never find that peace and happiness. And I use my platform and my own voice to say that that's not true. The impossible is possible. You just have to really, really, really put your head on right, put one foot on, one shoe at a time. almost got tongue twisted there for a second. And you just have to show the world that you're here. There's so many different avenues of life and so many different realms of media that try and paint this picture. So the best thing that we can do is live in your authenticity, because your journey and your struggles and your success is another person's, beacon of light, of hope, to know that we can make it through another day.
And I know mental health and self-care has been a part of the things that you really stand for. What's important to you when it comes to that? What do you want to share with your audience now so that they can be healthy in that regard too?
Well, why I think it's most important to take care of your mental health is just as important as your physical. We have this one body and this one soul to operate in this magical journey of life. And it's best to take care of yourself. And that's more than just what you eat and how much you work out. It's how you take care of yourself, how you show love to yourself. I feel like, coming from a very religious and Black family, I'm told that growing up, whenever I was struggling or dealing with something, it's just pray. I was like, okay, but I'm really, really sad. I remember telling my parents, I'm really going through it. I think I'm depressed. They said, pray. And I'm like, okay, work. A hug would suffice. But I think dealing with that journey allowed me to understand that you have to take care of you. You're responsible of you. Yes, prayer and meditation does work, but you have to find out what it is that you truly need. And that comes from getting to know yourself, whether that's taking yourself out on dates, solo, and doing things that you love to heal your inner child and heal yourself. And it all is a journey of acceptance and love. And these are very hard things to do for yourself, especially if you were never given that opportunity, or if you weren't shown how to do that. So it's important for you to show up for you. That's why mental health is such a big thing for me, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up, where I was just pouring all of this support. A lot of it had to come on my own, and it had to come through building myself up, starting something new where I've never seen before. There's no one else in my family like me in my entire lineage. So I'm really a generation of growth and breaking, generational curses in my family, where it just comes from being myself and never taking no for an answer. We're just going to keep going and keep pushing through life. Because the antithesis of that is failure, and I'm sorry, that's just not an option for me.
We definitely see that, and your success is showing. I love that you mentioned taking yourself on dates. That's something I've gotten into this year. I have realized that I always wanted someone to go with me to a concert, but I've been by myself a couple times this year, and I had the best time. What are things you like to do by yourself?
Just the other day, I went to go see Wicked for the third time, and
Isn't it so good?
Both times. The first time was a good time with my friends. Just the third time, I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else to do. I could kill 4 hours. Let's go get me a large bucket of popcorn. We'll get my refill, and we'll just sit through this movie and just enjoy ourselves, because this is what I want to do. It's not what I want to do with anyone else. This is something that I want to do for me. And it's, again, going back to the point of giving yourself self-love, loving yourself and giving yourself the opportunities that you weren't given.
Let's transition to talk about Ballroom, which I know you are involved in. Tell us about tell us about that.
Of course. I have the privilege and the honor to be a leader in a community that has been used in main culture for a very long time. And it's so refreshing, and it's been such a privilege to be in a community where, a lot of us on the outside world aren't given the amount of proper care and attention, which is why I'm grateful to have that platform where I'm known as Mother. I am the overall founding mother of the Kiki House of Moschino, and we are chapter wide all across the nation, and we're still growing. And it's just a place for me where I get to reclaim what family means to me. It's a place where I get to reclaim what love and showing up for one another, what it looks like. Yes, it's more than just walking and winning trophies and categories, which for me is a very often thing. But in that same breath, it is about that community and that support that us as queer people wouldn't normally get on the outside.
You have shared so much. I am going to tell you, I know for a fact, most of my audience does not even know what Ballroom is. So who better than mother of the Kiki House of Moschino to tell us just a brief thing on what Ballroom is so my listeners can understand.
Well, yeah. So Ballroom is a space where come together and we share our talent and experiences in a range of different categories. You have categories such as runway, where, you're competing against other people with who has the most fashionable look, and you're all walking like Naomi Campbell or Tyra Banks if you're that girl. There are categories such as face, which is actually the category that I'm known for, which is all about skin, teeth, structure, and beauty.
Which is all flawless. I know this is an audio podcast, but you all should see it. It is something to see, that's for sure.
Thank you, Lala.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining. So this scene and this community has definitely shaped your life and journey, and I'm sure it's probably helped with your pageantry.
Oh, absolutely.
If you could think of some things that anybody could learn from the values of ballroom culture, what would they be?
I think the biggest thing would be what it's like to show up for others. You learn how to work as a team we go as a house to a ball. It's more than just I'm walking my category. It's all of us showing up for each other when we walk. When my kids are on the floor, we're all clapping for each other. We're all chanting for each other. We do our house chant, and we show that camaraderie and support to each other in a way that the whole room is going to feel it. When we step on the floor, you're going to feel it, and you're going to know Moschino was there because of the way that we show up for each other. And that's something that I feel as if we don't get that in day to day, outside of ballroom, in the regular world, in the real world. I don't feel like we get that opportunity to support each other. It is a feeling of, we're all trying to do the best we can for ourselves. So it feels good to be in a community where you can do that, but you can also extend your hand to help out the person next to you. Granted, when you're in a house, when you're 007, it probably works different. Or when you're in other houses, it probably works different. But the feeling of being in that unity and knowing that we're all here for the common purpose is just something that is life-changing. And I don't feel like you can get that experience anywhere else.
I'm not done ballroom, but I've had experiences with other queer people that I know I say the same thing. You just don't get form those type of bonds anywhere else. And I can definitely see where ballroom with the community and the ability to express yourself in that way, in front of people, it can build such a bond. I do have a question. I have so many friends that want to go to a ball. Do people just go and watch a ball, or do you have to be competing to be in the room? I've always been curious.
Well,
I don't know.
Yes, of course. So we call the people that go to ballroom just to watch, we call them spectators. Because, you sit there and you watch and you get to enjoy the party. It feels like one very long show. I come from a world of showbiz where, we're entertainers, and, when it comes to watching talent, you don't just get to see one thing at a ball. You get to see the pretty girls be pretty. You get to see the people who dance really show out. You get to even see my favorite category sometimes, which is actually bizarre, where people come in these ornate, incredibly large, out of this world creations where you just are what the name says, bizarre. And it's something that you'll never get the same experience at a ball. You'll never see the same thing twice at a ball. It's always a fresh experience where you get to see something new. So to anyone that ever wants to go to a ball and you're scared about, I don't know if I should walk or just watch, the space is there for you. The space is made for queer people by queer people, specifically made by Black trans women and people of Black and brown identities where the outside world wasn't made for us. So we made our own, and we made our own space where we can be ourselves and be true to who we are.
Speaking of making your own space, you are getting ready to go to Miss International Queen in Thailand. How do you plan on making your own space in that competition? I know you got some exciting plans for it.
Oh, when I tell you, it's just something that I have not been thinking more about than the opportunity to show my uniqueness and where I come from and my unique way of living life with the rest of the world and the rest of these girls where, we have had other Black girls from Ballroom and Miss International Queen USA, like the iconic Giselle Barbie Royale and the iconic Sasha Sanchez. And I'm excited to show what I have to offer and what I'm going to bring to this stage, what I'm going to bring for talent, outfits, the glamour, the poise, and honestly, just getting to enjoy the experience of another culture and fully immersing myself in that. I feel like I'm a product of my environment. I know that when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do, but I'm never going to forget who I am and where I come from. And I'm going to be so proud to be able to show that off in such a very, very prestigious element.
Have you been to Thailand before?
This will be my first time, so I'm super
Oh,
excited.
that's exciting.
I've only left the nation once, and that was only in Canada. So, I love Vancouver.
Oh, that doesn't count. That does
That's
not.
my
Canada don't
place.
count. Canada.
It feels exactly like Washington. I don't even feel like I've left home when I've gone there. But I'm most excited for the food. If I'm allowed to say that, oh my gosh.
Yes. You're on Snack Size, the podcast. We love food here.
Yes, I'm excited for the culture and the food. And hopefully I come back with more than a few sentences. I wish Duolingo had the languages I'm trying to learn, but we're only so limited. So I'm excited to just get that firsthand experience of seeing it for myself so I can just make these memories and bring them back home.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited for you. And I heard that you will be designing a lot of your looks. How is that process?
Well, yes. Sorry, I'm obsessed. Saying "well, yes" is like my vocal tick right now. I can't stop saying it. But I am a designer, so it gives me a lot of pride and a lot of sense of originality, and it helps me feel more like myself to know that you're seeing more than just this smile and this face and this skin when you see me. You are seeing all of me and my creativity, which is, I think, a reason why I did so well in Miss International Queen, being able to wear my own creations that I spent my hard-earned time and money to create, to be able to showcase, everything that you see from head to toe is a reflection of me. And to show that individuality on such a level of where Miss International Queen in Thailand is going to be the biggest highlight of, honestly, my designing career. So my sewing machine and my sewing room will be on literal fire. And I cannot wait. I've already begun sketching the things that I want to do. And I just cannot wait for the rest of the USA and the world, for that matter, to see what I have cooking up.
I am so glad that you shared, because I think that there's such a pride in doing everything yourself. There's also an immense pressure when you're the one kind of being in charge of your ship, because you're making all the decisions. And if it's successful, it's great. But if it's not, it's decisions you made. But one thing about me and my career as a queen is that everything you see from me, I self-produce. And while it is a lot, not just what I do on stage, but things like this podcast, my books, I write a column for an entertainment magazine here too. It all comes from me, and it's a lot of work. But the other thing is, there is no greater sense of pride when you can say it's all done by you. And
absolutely.
I know whatever you present, you're going to be able to walk away with that feeling of I presented my work.
Absolutely. It feels like I'm going to war with the best suit of armor because I know it's mine. That's what it feels like. I feel like I'm fully protected in every realm because you're seeing me. There's love put into these stitches. There's time, effort, and thought put into everything that I'll display.
Now, when you are thinking about your legacy as Miss International Queen USA and hopefully Miss International Queen, what would you like to leave behind at the end of your reign, and sort of a nod towards wherever you're doing in the future? I'm sure you have a bright one ahead of you. I'm so excited to see you grow.
Well, thank you. I think the biggest thing that I want to impart is a legacy of being yourself and not necessarily striving for perfection. In my experience of being a part of the Miss Universe organization, competing for Miss Washington USA, I landed in the top 6, and I felt as if my placement there, being a finalist, the only thing that was blocking me was myself. And it was myself putting barriers on myself, saying that I can't accomplish this, I can't do this. Competing in a competition against all cis women, I felt as if I didn't belong. On that very last day when everything mattered, the only person who was stopping me was myself. If I can share a little bit of vulnerability, I was very supported throughout the entire competition. I don't feel like I felt the same sense of sisterhood or understanding that the other girls had with each other. But there was never any hate or any malice shared towards me. So the only person that really held myself back was myself. And to go into a world of pageantry, such as Miss International Queen USA, which is meant for and by trans women, feels like it's a place where I don't have to worry about that. And I can just focus on being myself. So I can focus on the good things and the brighter things that are to come. It feels so unique, and it allows me to stand in a place of truth where I don't have to worry about the this and the that and the hurdles to come ahead. I can just focus on, myself and what I need to do in order to make myself feel proud of what I want to show the world, within my individuality. Yes, I can be very poised and I can be on and I can smile and wave at the cameras, but I'm never afraid to just be myself. If that's a little off key to the note ahead of me, I'll be that. If my drum beats a little bit faster than the girls ahead of me, I'll be that. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to show how unique I can be, because I think there's so much beauty in showcasing your authenticity. And that's something that I want to leave behind in my legacy, is showing everyone that it's okay to be yourself. Yes, in certain tables, you have certain dress codes, but you can still add a flavor to it. My favorite show growing up, That's So Raven. So Miss Girl had a uniform, but within that uniform, she turned it out. It's her accessories, her style, and her hair even. And that's how I like to display myself when I'm in these rooms of pageantry. Again, yes, we can be poised on all of these things, but we can also stay true to who you are. And I want everyone to know, within any realm of life that you're in, it's okay to know what they're asking for, but still put a little you in it, put a little twist in it, and never be ashamed of where you come from, to be able to show your story, because your story might be a breakthrough for someone else who hasn't heard it yet,
And you have such a beautiful story. This next question is something I ask all my guests, and there's no right or wrong answer. I have heard everything, that's for sure. So in your own words, what do you think is the secret to living a happy and fulfilled life?
Oh, what a lovely question, Lala.
Thank you.
I believe that the answer is mayonnaise. No, just kidding.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
No, I think the answer is finding what brings you joy. And that could be a movie, that could be a video game, that could be makeup, that could be shopping. But just find what brings you joy and ride it till the wheels fall off. My last favorite is watching Tron 3, 4, 5 times in a row. If it makes you happy, baby, put the record on repeat and keep going until you can't.
So everybody I know that listens to this is going to want to follow you. So where can we find you? How can we keep track of how you're going to do at Miss International Queen?
I'd say the main thing is start off by following me on Instagram. As the place of social media where I use the most. You can find me at Midori Monét, MIDORIMONET. And you can also stay tuned to what I have cooking up on the Miss International Queen USA's Instagram, which is exactly that, MISS, International Queen USA. And stay tuned. I might even have something very special coming up on my own YouTube page, which will also be Midori Monét.
Awesome. We are so excited, and I just am so proud of you. We just met, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I am so proud. And thank you, Midori, for being on my podcast. It's been such an honor, and I'm wishing you all the best over in Thailand.
Oh, thank you so much, Lala. And I'm sure that we're bringing that crown back home here to the USA.
Hey! Yay! We can't wait. All right, snacks. Be safe, love one another, and remember, go be fabulous. Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Snack Size the podcast. But if you're still feeling a little hungry, then head on over to snacksizepod.com and feast on all your favorite episodes. While you're there, follow me on social media. I love to stay connected. Until next time, keep it tasty. And remember, you are always the flavor of the day.